What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Charrisse if you're new here, and welcome back to another Cocktails and Combos. Tonight, I'm going to be sharing my views, thoughts, and opinions of the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7, Episode 14. I'm going to be making a virgin lemon drop tonight, so let's go ahead and get started, y'all. So, on tonight's episode of the Real Housewives, we kind of pick back up where we left off with the dinner fight scene. So you have Charrisse and Karen still discussing this who was a genuine friend and blah, 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 la, la, la. And I will tell you, like I said in my last review, y'all, I was really confused at kind of how did this beef fight, whatever, go from 0 to 100. It just kind of seemed like at first they were being cordial, and then all of a sudden, like, boom, like things got heated. After watching them continuing this conversation tonight, it did appear that basically Karen felt like Charrisse was not being genuine when she came to her mother's funeral. Karen felt like Charrisse was just coming to, I guess, get some form of kudo points, that she was just trying to use that as a talking point to show off and gloat like, oh, I'm such a good friend, blah, 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 blah. In my personal opinion, I felt like that was like really a reach, a stretch. Being a fan of the show for as long as I have been, and watching that season where Karen was, grieving her mother's passing and really going through the proceedings of, trying to deal with that grief. I'm aware that Karen is from like this 7x7 coastal Southern Virginia area. I'm familiar with the area that Karen is from, and it's not like it's a hop skip away from DC, the Potomac area. Like, that's a commitment. That's a 3.5 hour, 4 hour commitment to come down here. And I just honestly, I really think you have to be a self-centered, low-down person to say, oh, I'm gonna go to someone's parents' funeral just to be able to have that little kudo or brownie pouring to bring up and throw in their face, or I'm gonna go to somebody's parents' funeral just so that I can brag about it around the neighborhood. Like, I feel like that's a stretch. I honestly do believe that Charrisse went to Karen's mother's funeral just off the strength of being a good friend. I honestly, genuinely believe that. Now, Karen is entitled to her own feelings and opinions. We can't argue how she felt, but I just kind of felt like, oh, Karen, you may be pushing it with this narrative. So they're still going back and forth, arguing this, that, and the third. And in the mix of all of this, there's a lot of tea being spilt at this table, y'all. So at the table, y'all, Charrisse is saying that Karen has slept with all these men, that Karen went to rehab, y'all, that Karen be sleeping with married men. It was a lot of shots fired. And the nosy part of me wants to know, like, did I miss the memo? Did anyone else catch the fact that Karen went to rehab? The nosy part of me wants to know what for, but I wish her all the best if she did go to rehab. It was a lot of tea that was spilt at that table, y'all. A lot of going back and forth, a lot of theatrics, y'all. It was just a lot. So here we have it, our final lemon drop. Let's continue our conversation, y'all. So, as I stated, it was a lot of tea that was thrown at the table, y'all, but I honestly feel like Karen is entitled to her feelings and opinions in regards to if she felt like Charrisse was not being genuine. But I personally, just the way that I think, I honestly don't feel like Charrisse would have driven all the way down to Southern Virginia, coastal Virginia, to attend her mother's funeral if there wasn't a part of her that was really trying to be compassionate towards Karen. I honestly think that Charrisse was being, genuine with her actions in supporting Karen. And I personally feel like Karen just kind of blew up at the uttering of the title of her mother. As soon as she heard her mother, she got upset. But I do think Charrisse was being genuine. And as I stated in my last review, y'all, I told y'all, these two women were not going to be throwing no blows. They were not going to be throwing hands. They do not strike me as the type that are really gutter like that. I do feel like there are some older women in this world that they come from, you know, not so pleasant backgrounds, and whether they 18, 21, 31, or 76, it's on sight if you start popping off at the mouth. Karen and Charrisse do not give me that type of vibe. They give me the vibes of being these very classy, bougie women, and the idea that they were like, it was just, they were doing the most. They were just being extra. They were doing the most. And I knew that that argument would not amount to much of anything. While everyone was at the dinner table, someone brought up and tried to readdress the Mia and Jacqueline situation. And I thought it was funny because Jacqueline was basically like, look, Mia and I need to address this in private. And Mia was just like, slurping her drink down, just like, look, girl, I ain't got nothing for you. I ain't got nothing for you, but okay, we can talk. So dinner comes to an end. The ladies are partying in the hotel bar, at the hotel lobby, and Jacqueline and Mia go have a conversation. And basically, Jacqueline felt like Mia airing out her business and saying that she sleeps with married men was Mia insinuating that she has slept with Gordon. And again, we've all been watching this season how the ladies are trying to suss out and figure out if Mia, Jacqueline, and Gordon have had a threesome. And I guess Jacqueline felt like Mia kind of putting her business out there was like, you're just kind of adding more fuel to the fire and to the flames of these women or people in general thinking that we've had a threesome when I guess they haven't. I don't know. She didn't say they didn't have it, but she's definitely not trying to continue to grow that narrative. So Mia was basically like, look, I'm just being honest. I'm being truthful. Look, you threw the first shot, so I just aired it out. And you sleep with married men. Jacqueline was basically like, that's evil, you changed, you're a liar. Basically calling Mia a liar and basically saying, Mia, you slept with married men, you slept with Gordon and he was married. And Mia was like, look, I own up to mine. Like, yes, I've slept with married men. I was dating and sleeping around with Gordon, and when we started messing around, he was married. So I own it, you own it. And Jacqueline kept denying it. I personally think she has slept with married men. I understand that is wrong, not condoning it, bad thing. Don't sleep with people's husbands, y'all, or wives, y'all. Just don't sleep and interfere with people's marriages. I feel like Jacqueline is trying to save face. And it's weird for me watching her save face and trying to deny that she sleeps with married men when it's like, it's very much possible you do sleep with married men. Your best friend has slept with married men. Birds of a feather flock together. So I do believe that Jacqueline sleeps with married men. It's wrong. I guess for me, and maybe I'm desensitizing things, maybe I'm watering things down, but for me, it feels very unauthentic and weird that she's trying to save face. Nobody wants to be labeled as a homewrecker, but nobody is stating and calling out these men by name. Like, it would be one thing if we were on the show and they were like, Jacqueline, you slept with da-da-da-da-da's husband. Then it'd be like, oh no, I'm definitely deny. But no one's saying the men that you have slept with. We're just calling out a fact that you are a woman who sleeps with married men. It is not a becoming trait, but if it is what it is, then just own it. She looks kind of suspect denying it. I guess that's how I feel. She just seems very suspect denying it and playing it off and acting like, no, I don't. You're evil. You've changed. You are the devil or whatever. Like, she was calling Mia all types of names. But I honestly do believe what Mia said. I do believe that Jacqueline sleeps with married men. She's been sleeping with married men. She gonna keep sleeping with married men. Mia is her best friend and she sleeps with married men, or she did sleep with married men before she married Gordon. Just own it. Own that you were wrong, and let's move on. Continuing on, the next day, the ladies are out on the beach, and let me just say this. Candace and Ashley look good in their bathing suits, y'all. I was low-key like, look, I need to figure out what they are doing to maintain those bodies, especially Ashley after she has given birth to 2 beautiful children. It's like, I need to know because they look so good in their bathing suits. And Candace, I love Candace's style. Y'all know I'm a big Candace fan, and I loved her bathing suit, the black with the hat. I was loving it. I was living for it. They both look really, really good. But the ladies, they wake up the next morning, they're on the beach. Ashley is showing the ladies how to do some coochie yoga, and they're out having a good time. It wasn't much here. One thing I did pick up and I thought was interesting, and it annoyed me, and it connects back to the Mia and Jacqueline thing. Jacqueline said something interesting to me in her confessional where she was like, Mia's changed and she used to be more down to earth, and now she's just all about her business, this, that, and the third, and you know, she's just different, and I don't think she's genuine or something like that. And that annoys me. It really does annoy me. I hate when adults and adult friends get upset at their friends for growing and changing. Like, we are all going to change and evolve as we go through life. I feel like I've noticed it, that there's a lot more conversations going on around friend breakups, and you know, you can be friends with someone and then things just start to break up, and it sucks and it's sad. And maybe that's what Mia and Jacqueline are going through. But I didn't really like Jacqueline's language, basically saying that Mia's different and she's changed up and boop, boop, boop. It's like, it's nothing wrong. Like, Mia may have gotten a little bit more bougie, but again, it's not wrong. It's not like the woman is, you know, doing harm to herself or doing harm to others. This woman basically went from not really having her parents or a secure, solid family structure to now she is the owner of several franchises and, you know, has a beautiful family. And, you know, maybe her taste and her style has elevated and she's a little bit more bougie, and that may be a little annoying, but I don't think that she should be made to seem like this negative, evil person. She changed, she grew up, she's on to bigger and better things, and maybe y'all are at the point where you're not supposed to be a factor in her life anymore. It sucks, it's sad, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes. So the ladies leave their beach coochie yoga and head out to the cenotes, and most of the women, they won't feeling it. They won't trying to get in the water, which I don't blame them. When I was in Mexico a few years ago, I took an excursion and a cenote was there, and it's just not my speed. It's not my speed. I'm a beach girl. I'm from the 757 Virginia Beach, and I like to just lay on the beach, look cute, have cocktails as we all see, and just chill. And if I am going to get in the water, I'm the type of person that's like, as soon as I get in the water, I'm looking to go to my room so I can take a shower. So I can understand why a lot of them didn't want to get in the water, but that was the trip. It's a lot of tension still between Karen and Charrisse. I thought it was very telling that Karen decided to address and bring up the Ashley and Candace drama. I was like, really? You almost was about to throw hands on Charrisse and you want to redirect the drama to Candace and Ashley? Okay. But they revisit the issue with Candace bringing Deborah to Karen's little improv situation. Ashley made it seem like she brought Deborah because from her experience with everything that Michael has done in these streets, if a woman had stated that Michael was being flirtatious and inappropriate, that she would want to hear that woman's side. She would want someone to, you know, tell her. I appreciate and agree with what Candace said to Ashley, and I feel like what Candace said was valid. And Candace basically made it seem like, look, you have been in a marriage where a man has publicly dragged you through all his mess, out in casinos with other women, allegedly sexually assaulting men that are on set, getting caught in hotels. Like, you have been with a dishonest and a disloyal man for years. And so for you, having that experience, you automatically think that if someone else's husband or boyfriend is out here getting caught up or having a conversation, like there's something behind it. And I appreciated Candace basically saying like, look, my husband and I, we love each other, we trust each other, I trust my husband, and the fact that he was having an innocent conversation with a woman does not mean that he was out here trying to get at this woman or flirt with her. And that I hope that now that you and Michael are done, that you end up in a relationship where you don't have to go through the same mess that you went through with Michael. And I thought that was so valid. I really do think, to a certain extent, Ashley felt like, oh, well, Chris was in my DMs, and so that's problematic. And my friend said Chris was talking to her and she felt like it was flirty, and that's problematic. And basically Chris is out here in these streets. And I do feel like Candace had a point. It's like, look, just because my husband is being friendly with you, that doesn't mean he's trying to sleep with you or your goofy friend. Men can be friendly and carry a innocent conversation and it be nothing there. But unfortunately, because you have the husband that you have and you are used to him being out here being a hoe, and just embarrassing you, that any time a husband or a man speaks to a woman, you take it as like he's just doing no good. I thought Candace made a valid point, and it's so true, like so true. And I did appreciate this honesty moment that Candace and Ashley had. I'll say this, I feel like 25% of Ashley bringing up this whole Chris situation and involving Deborah was her trying to be helpful and trying to look out for Candace. And then the other 75% of me feels like Ashley brought up this whole Chris thing just to have a storyline, just to stir the pot. I don't really feel like she was being truly genuine with trying to look out for Candace. I feel like a part of it was for show purposes, and I think a part of it is, again, we all know Candace has drug Ashley and Michael's name and relationship through the mud. I think a lot of it was deserving, and I think it's just who Ashley married. Like, you married a dirtbag, and Candace just called that ish out. And I think Ashley felt like this may be the one moment in time where she can return the favor to Candace. And I felt like that's where it was. I don't feel like Ashley was being genuine with bringing up the Chris situation to Candace, but nonetheless, they were able to have an honest moment. As we are leaving the cenotes, as the ladies are heading back to the hotel, we catch a scene between Charrisse and Ashley, and Charrisse is basically still hot, y'all. She's still hot about the argument from last night between her and Karen. She feels like Karen isn't a good friend. She feels like, from her standpoint, she took the time out to go and drive to be with Karen and support her at her mother's funeral. And all Karen did for her when her father died was send her a text. They continue this discussion at dinner. So all the ladies meet up again for dinner. The scene starts up with Robin talking about her wedding. Now, earlier Karen had asked Robin when the wedding date was, and she was basically like, we have a date, but we're not telling nobody. Okay. Okay, so she basically was like, we have a date, we're not telling anyone, and kind of brushes it off. We get to dinner and she's like, well, we do have a date, we have a plan, but I really don't want a wedding. And I thought that was interesting because the last episode we saw Robin having a tailor come over to start making the boys' suits, and now it's like, we don't want a wedding. My thing is, if you truly do not want to make this a big deal, if you really just want to get married and you don't want all this, that, and the third, I'm like, why don't y'all just go to the courthouse? Like, it sounds like all y'all want is to get a piece of paper to legally say y'all are married, and that's it. Maybe you want to have it special, you want to have a little small special ceremony because your boys are here. But look, we all know, I really don't think they are going to get married, y'all. I honestly do not think they are going to get married. I think this wedding between Juan and Robin is the only thing of substance that Robin has to bring to the show, because outside of this, what else have we talked about when it comes to Robin? A few seasons ago, we had her hat business, but that's it. This is the only thing of substance that we have with Robin. Unlike Giselle does a good job at stirring up drama on the show, whereas Robin doesn't really stir up or initiate drama. She just adds her 2 cents in on things. But I mean, Robin doesn't have anything really of substance to add to the show. And I thought it was like bizarre that not only, okay, you're having a small ceremony, you don't want a lot of people there, boom. Now you all are talking about you're gonna get married the day after your brother-in-law gets married in Jamaica. Oh gosh, it's really tacky and weird. It's weird, y'all, that they are deciding to get married the day after the brother-in-law. But honestly, I do not think they're gonna get married. Even when both Robin and Juan have scenes together and this wedding is coming up, neither one of them is excited. Neither one of them's interested. Like, I do believe that there are different strokes for different folks. Some people honestly are not into the glitz and glamours of a wedding, and that's okay. I don't think that if you aren't planning a grand royale wedding, that doesn't mean you want to get married to someone. But I do feel like even the individuals who don't want to have a big wedding still have a sense of, I want to marry this person. There's an excitement there. There's oh my gosh, like I cannot wait. And I don't get that from Juan and Robin. And I get it, they've been married before, so maybe this is just like, we've done this before. But I mean, even Nene and Greg, they were married, got divorced, and got remarried again. And you could see when Nene had her second wedding, both Nene and Greg, when they got married the second time, like there was love and chemistry and excitement. Like, it wasn't like we just doing this again. Like, no, they were just as happy, if not more happy, to be doing this a second time, that they refound each other. And I don't get that from Robin and Juan. I honestly think that they are okay with being roommates and co-parenting. I think being on the show, there's this sense of pressure that Robin feels that she needs to get married. That's what I think. So after the Robin Juan conversation, things segue back to where we started, y'all. The fight between Charrisse and Karen. And Giselle made a comment that I felt like was her stirring the pot, y'all. She was stirring the pot. She made a comment and said that Charrisse is really the queen of Potomac because Charrisse is really the architecture of this friends group. I think it goes without saying that Charrisse was the one who organized and orchestrated this group. And I believe, I don't know, I do not know all the facts, but it almost gave a sense of the reason why the women that are on the Real Housewives of Potomac are there, because Charrisse was the one to kind of carefully pick out these friends that she was cool with. And I think that's true and valid. But Giselle was basically insinuating that Karen is still bothered by that. As I stated, Robin liking to give her 2 cents, throwing in her opinion. She got really turned up for whatever reason. I thought it was weird how passionate she was, but essentially Robin was saying that Karen, all she does is deflect. You need to address this. You're acting real funny around Charrisse. You act like you're not bothered, but low-key you are. And basically everyone was insinuating that the reason why Karen is bothered or making a big deal about things is because she's just really upset or bothered by the fact that everyone likes to give Charrisse kudos for being the queen of Potomac, for being the true Grand Dame. And Karen believes she's the Grand Dame. And I do think that Karen does deflect a lot. Karen to me seems like the one who is trying to make peace with everyone. She has no beef with no one. She don't want no problems. But I also think Giselle deflects too. Like, again, let's not act like there haven't been other seasons where people have called Giselle out on her BS and she just sits there like this. Like, Giselle deflects too. Giselle will sit there, not entertain it, and then twist it around and make it seem like you're the problem, you're the evil villain because you called her out, and kind of blow over the fact that she was the one who instigated something. So at the end of the day, I could see where maybe Karen feels slightly some type of way. I don't even know if she feels some type of way that people keep bringing up the fact that Charrisse is the queen of Potomac. I think again, if you watch the original first couple of seasons, Karen's issue or with Charrisse and being bothered with Charrisse is not so much of who's the queen of Potomac or who's the queen of the group, but I think it was more so those two flexing like their title, their stature, their stands, their money, like who's richer, who's more well-known, who has more designer this. I think it was more so that than like Karen wants to be the one who is given all the credit for why the girls are friends. Maybe I'm wrong, y'all. Comment below if I have it all wrong, but I can see Karen being a little bothered, but I honestly think Karen is just like, look, we are just not friends. Like, I don't understand why these women are confused at why Karen doesn't want to be around Charrisse. Like, yes, I do think initially it started off between the battles of who's the true Grand Dame, but I think essentially it grew to Charrisse was throwing out, you cheating on Ray, you out here in these streets doing whatever with whomever, and that may be very true. As we saw in the preview for next episode, we may actually get some facts about who Blue Eye is in Potomac that Karen is running around the city with. So that may be true, but I'm pretty sure Karen's like, true or not, like, if you're supposed to be my friend, why you put my business out there on national television with my husband? Like, I think that boils down more to why Karen doesn't really like Charrisse. I thought it was also telling that even both Karen and Charrisse admitted that prior to the Real Housewives of Potomac being a thing, Charrisse and Karen weren't even cool like that. They weren't cool. Like, they knew each other. They had mutual friends. They probably hung out occasionally, but it's not like they were best friends. It's not like they were the best of friends in the world. So again, this whole, oh, Karen, you're bothered. Why don't you want to be around Charrisse, this, that, and the third? It's just like, I don't like this woman and I don't want to be around her. Like, I'm cordial, we can be in the same space, the same circles, but I'm not gonna act like we're going to be the world's best of friends, because we weren't even best friends before this happened. Like, I honestly think this whole battle of the Grand Dame narrative, this whole battle of the Queen of Potomac narrative is played out. I really hope that after the season, we leave it alone. Please just bring Charrisse back as a full-time housewife and let her talk about all the other things that are going on in her life that are great, and let's dead this whole Karen thing, because it's getting old now. It's really, really old. Or if you bring Charrisse back and she's not a full-time housewife and she's just a friend of the show, let Charrisse fall out with someone else. Like, let her fall out with someone else, because this battle of the Grand Dame thing is old to me. A lot. I'm not gonna lie. There are a lot of narratives and storylines this season that are old. It's just like, okay, we need to leave it here in season 7 and let's move on. So Karen apologizes to the group and does not apologize to Charrisse. And I guess Giselle or Robin are both kind of call her out, basically saying, how are you going to apologize to the group and not apologize to Charrisse? And Candace, my girl Candace, she basically called out the hypocrisy and the double standard that Robin and Giselle are upset that Karen is apologizing to the group and not Charrisse. But down in Miami, when Mia apologized to the group in a text message, about her actions the night before, but excluded Wendy out, and just how it was double standard, and how there's this trend in the group where people want to apologize to everyone else but don't want to apologize to the actual person. So then we get back to revisiting the Wendy and Mia thing. Basically, we revisit that fight, and Wendy's basically calling out Mia, how you never apologized to me, and Mia's just like, I wasn't sorry to you. I was sorry to the group. And like I said in one of my other recaps, Mia cannot keep up with Wendy. She cannot keep up with Wendy, and I think that gets her so upset and it frustrates her. Like with her friend Jacqueline, she can throw jabs and she's ahead of her friend Jacqueline. She knows what buttons and what nerves to push to kind of have one up on Jacqueline. I've noticed between the Mia and Jacqueline situation and the Wendy and Mia situation, Wendy gets to speaking and breaking things down and pointing things out, and Mia, I feel like she gets lost at like, what's my point? What's my stance? Why am I upset? Why did I even put myself in the middle of Wendy and Peter's business? And low-key, I think Mia knows that deep down inside, like, she was actually wrong, but just being prideful, doesn't want to admit anything. But I'm appreciative that Candace brought it up, just the double standards in the group. So we end the episode with Mia giving Wendy kind of a backhanded apology, like, I'm sorry, basically apologizing just to shut her up. And really, it wasn't sincere or genuine. I don't think anyone was expecting that, and you just had Wendy going on and on to the point that Mia gets up and walks away, and that was the conclusion of the episode. I will say this one thing, y'all. One, I felt like this episode was a little boring to me personally. I just felt like the fight and the beef between Charrisse and Karen, it is getting old. Tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing about this whole battle of the queen. Who's the true queen of Potomac? Who's the true Grand Dame? It's like, look, we've been here, done this, we get it. Karen has and wears and brands herself as the Grand Dame, but we all know that Charrisse is the true person who bonded all these women together and is the reason why most of these women are friends. We don't need to keep recycling and talking about this. It's getting old. The fight between Karen and Charrisse, it didn't land. I don't want to say it didn't land the way that they expected or hoped it to be, but it's, again, like I stated, these are two mature, older women who carry and pride themselves on being very classy. This whole, oh my gosh, like, the big fight of the season was gonna be between Karen and freaking Charrisse. Like, I knew that it wasn't gonna be much of nothing. And so it just seemed like to carry this out to the next episode, it's like, okay, we'll see. Knew nothing was gonna come of it. There's a lot of beefs and underlying tensions between the women. And so you can kind of see, at least for me, I feel like I'm seeing and witnessing these women. They're forcing themselves to be around each other for the sake of they work together, they're on this show, but it's obvious they don't really like each other for whatever reason. And it's hard to kind of push past, your issues or tensions with someone if you deep down don't like them and you have your reasons for not liking them. Either way, I felt like this episode was boring to me. It just fell flat, and I'm really, really hoping that come next episode, they pick it up. There's something either fun that brings the women together, or there's another big dramatic moment in the group, and it's like they go full throttle and let them bring the drama. Don't give me another, oh my gosh, Karen and Charrisse are fighting, but we know they're not gonna throw hands. Like, we know nobody was really gonna be the first one to throw the first punch. Those women weren't gonna hit each other. It was just extra, it was drawn out, and I didn't need it. So this episode was boring. But bottom line, y'all, it was boring to me. I just did not get much excitement from it. So I'm hoping that the next episode we get something. But thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please like it. Liking it helps me to grow as a channel. Also, comment below your thoughts. If I'm missing something, y'all, and y'all thought it was the best episode. Please let me know what I missed and I will go back and watch it. But for me, it was just not given in this episode. I could have done without it. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel, comment, like, and I will catch you all next Sunday. But in the meantime, I will see you all in the video below.